In the near future, the world is in ruins. A strange fungal disease has spread across the planet. This fungus is a mutated form of Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, which normally infects insects. Now it infects humans. Once it takes over a person, it destroys their free will. The infected lose all sense of who they were and become fast, dangerous, flesh-eating creatures known as hungries. They do not think. They only chase, bite, and eat. Humanity is almost gone, but there is one fragile hope. A small number of children have been born from infected mothers. These children are hybrids, part human, part hungry. They do still crave human flesh, but unlike normal hungries, they can think, learn, and communicate. Scientists call them second-generation hungries. These special children live at an army base in the home counties of England. It is not a normal school, but they call it that. They sit in wheelchairs with arms and legs strapped down so they can't attack anyone. Soldiers point guns at them at all times. Their teacher is Helen Justineau. She teaches them reading, writing, and stories, and she also observes them for research. Another person at the base, Dr. Caroline Caldwell, performs experiments on the children to try to find a cure for the infection. To the soldiers, these children are dangerous test subjects. To Justineau, they are people. She treats them with kindness and respect. This puts her at odds with Sergeant Eddie Parks, the strict commander in charge of security. Parks believes the children should never be treated as normal humans. Among the children, there is one girl named Melanie who stands out. She is polite, curious, and extremely intelligent. Justineau grows very close to her. One day, Melanie reads a story she wrote about a young girl who saves a woman from a monster, and the two stay together forever. It is clear that Melanie is imagining herself as the girl, and Justineau as the woman. Justineau is moved and reaches out to gently touch Melanie's head. At that moment, Parks storms into the classroom. He is angry at Justineau for touching a hungry. He spits on his arm and wipes away the chemical gel he wears to block his human scent. Then he holds his arm close to one of the children's faces. The smell of living flesh drives the child into a frenzy, snapping and growling. The excitement spreads quickly to other children. That evening, Parks punishes Melanie by leaving her strapped to her wheelchair in her cell all night. She is not allowed to sleep in her bed. Justineau, feeling guilty, visits Melanie. She goes inside and begins to unstrap her, but the blocker gel on Justineau's skin has worn off. The smell overwhelms Melanie, and she snaps at Justineau, trying to bite. Melanie fights hard to control herself because she wants Helen to see her as human, but she can't resist the hunger entirely. Justineau runs from the cell, accidentally leaving her bottle of scent-blocking lotion near the door. Dr. Caldwell finds it later. Caldwell's main goal is to create a vaccine for the infection, and she believes the second-generation children may be the key. She regularly tests Melanie's intelligence with riddles and puzzles, which Melanie solves easily. One day, Caldwell asks Melanie to choose a number between 1 and 20. Melanie picks 13. The next day, the child from cell 13 is gone. Later, Caldwell asks for another number, and this time Melanie surprises her by choosing her own number, 4. Caldwell reluctantly takes Melanie to her lab. There, Melanie sees a preserved brain that belonged to the missing child. Melanie realizes what Caldwell has been doing, cutting open the children to study them. Caldwell straps Melanie to a table and prepares to remove her brain and spinal cord. Justineau rushes in to stop her, but is tricked and overpowered. Before Caldwell can proceed, disaster strikes. The base's fences have been breached. Hungries pour in, attacking soldiers. One smashes against the lab's glass wall, cutting Caldwell's hand. In the chaos, Melanie escapes. Outside, she sees the horrifying attack, Hungries swarming over soldiers, tearing them apart. Two soldiers grab Justineau, but Melanie leaps at them, killing and infecting both. Justineau and Melanie run to an armored van that is escaping the base. Inside are Parks, Private Kieran Gallagher, Private Dylan, and Caldwell. The soldiers want to shoot Melanie, but Justineau shields her. Caldwell says they need her alive. They muzzle and handcuff Melanie to the van's roof gunner seat, and the group drives away from the burning base. They stop at a river to collect water. Hungries suddenly appear from the trees. They swarm the group. Justineau pulls Melanie inside the van while Parks shoots. Dylan is bitten. The infection works fast, so Parks shoots him before he fully turns. As they drive on, Parks asks Caldwell why Hungries gather in groups instead of wandering alone. Before Caldwell can answer, Melanie says they must be lonely. The van soon breaks down. They decide to travel on foot to London, where there might be food, supplies, and a way to contact a larger military base called Beacon. When they reach London, they find it overgrown with wild plants. Thousands of hungries stand motionless in the streets, dormant until they smell prey. The group uses the scent-blocking gel and moves quietly through the city. They shoot a few hungries in the head when necessary, and finally find shelter in an abandoned hospital. That night, Caldwell tells Melanie the truth about how second-generation hungries are born. Infected pregnant women gave birth, but the newborns killed them while being born, chewing their way out. These babies were already infected, but still capable of higher thought. The next day, the group tries to leave the hospital, but a much larger horde of hungries has surrounded it. The noise from their earlier gunfire likely drew them in. Melanie offers to help. She explains that the hungries will not attack her because she is one of them. She can lead them away, giving the others a chance to escape. Melanie wanders through the empty streets, exploring abandoned houses. She touches furniture, toys, and kitchen items with childlike curiosity, amazed by the ordinary things she has never seen before. Her hunger takes over. She chases down a cat, killing and eating it. Later, she catches a small dog and uses it as bait to lure a group of hungries away from the hospital so the others can escape. After they leave, Melanie notices a faded poster of a cat. She stares at it until Helen asks if she would like one. Melanie smiles slightly and says she already had one. Moving deeper into London, the group reaches the BT Tower, now completely covered in vines and fungus. Around it lie hundreds of rotting, infected corpses. From their bodies sprout huge seed pods. Caldwell explains that if the pods burst, the spores will spread through the air, infecting everyone and ending humanity. They soon find an abandoned, solar-powered mobile military lab. The crew is missing. Caldwell, her arm badly infected from the earlier attack, admits she has blood poisoning and will soon die. While they rest, Kieran goes out to search for food. Melanie also asks to leave to feed, unable to resist her craving any longer. She wanders into an overgrown part of the city and discovers a pack of feral second-generation children, hungries like her, but wild and dangerous. They have learned to detect humans even when they wear scent-blocking gel, likely from hunting the missing lab crew. Realizing Kieran is in danger, Melanie hurries back to the lab to warn the others. Before they can act, they make radio contact with Beacon, the main army base, and hear that its fences have fallen. The base will soon be overrun. Helen, Parks, and Melanie set out to find Kieran. They arrive too late. His body has been torn apart, and the feral children circle nearby. Melanie growls and asserts dominance over them, eventually killing their leader in a violent fight. She orders Parks and Helen to act afraid so the ferals believe they belong to her. Leading them away, she brings them back to safety. When they return, Caldwell ambushes them by releasing knockout gas from inside the lab. The group collapses. Injured and weak, Caldwell drags Melanie inside, planning to dissect her for a cure. But Melanie wakes quickly. Her body processes oxygen differently, letting her hold her breath longer than normal humans. Caldwell tells her that the pods at the BT Tower will eventually open if exposed to heat or water. She argues she must finish her work before dying, to save Helen and the human race. Melanie asks if Caldwell now believes she is truly alive, not just imitating emotions. Caldwell admits she does. Melanie then asks, "Why should we die so you can live?" She threatens Caldwell, leaves the lab, and heads for the BT Tower. In the center of London, Melanie sets the fungal tower alight. The flames trigger the pods, releasing a massive cloud of airborne spores. Caldwell follows, but is cornered and killed by the feral children. Back at the lab, Melanie finds Parks collapsed. The spores have infected him. Upset, she had hoped to keep him and Helen safe. Melanie listens as Parks asks her to spare him from turning. She gives him a merciful death. Melanie returns to the mobile lab, where Helen stands inside the sealed airlock, watching the spores fall outside. The infection cannot reach her, but she is now trapped inside forever. Outside, Melanie gathers all the surviving children from the army base and the feral pack. She keeps them under strict control. Through the lab speakers, Helen begins teaching them, just as she once taught Melanie's class. Finally, Melanie asks for her favorite thing, a story. Helen refuses, but Melanie smiles and says they have plenty of time to hear one.